I'm gonna be honest, when Apple first announced the AirPods Pro second generation, I was not very excited, but after using them every single day for about a month now, I find myself becoming more and more impressed with them as the days go on. However, there are a couple of reasons why I still keep the AirPods third generation around. So we're gonna compare the two in this video after a month of usage on the Pros and after over a year of usage on the AirPods third generation. So we have a $70 price difference between these two AirPods. Now, what does that extra $70 get you? Well, for starters, you get the two Pro features of the AirPods line, which is active noise cancellation and transparency mode, which has actually been upgraded to adaptive transparency mode this year. And I'll discuss why that new feature is confusing in a minute. But first, we have to discuss that noise cancellation because this is perhaps the number one reason why you would choose the Pros over the regular third generation AirPods. I'm gonna be comparing the original AirPods Pro to the new Pros in a separate video, but just know that the noise cancellation has improved quite a bit. And every time I go back to the AirPods 3, especially in a public place like a grocery store, I regret not having my Pros to be able to block out that Lady Gaga song playing on the loudspeakers. But in a more quiet atmosphere like your office, this is not going to be as big of a deal. But to me personally, noise cancellation is an absolute must, but somehow I still have my AirPods 3, and that's because they actually do a couple of things better than the AirPods Pro 2. So for one, some might find that the AirPods 3 are just more comfortable in the ear due to that lack of silicone on the tips. So we don't have any silicone tips, and also where they sit on the ear, in your ear. So the Pros actually go into your ear canal, whereas the AirPods 3, the regular AirPods, sit just outside of the canal. So that adds extra comfort and kind of reduces any type of discomfort that you could have from the Pros. And I actually find myself using the AirPods 3 after I've had the AirPods Pro in my ears for too long because they do kind of get uncomfortable after a long listening session. However, for the Pros, Apple did just introduce a new extra small size. So if you could never quite fit the Pros in your ears, this could be a solution for you. But for those with ears that just simply do not agree with the shape and the feel of the silicone tips on the Pros, the AirPods 3 will be the correct choice for you because all of the features in the world cannot make up for an uncomfortable set of earbuds. The other reason you might choose the standard AirPods over the Pros is the price. So $70 is a decent price difference when we're talking about earbuds, and not to mention the normal AirPods go on sale much more frequently than the Pros do. So you can score some AirPods 3 for a really good price if you pay attention to the deals on sites like Amazon and other retailers. Now, with that being said, the new adaptive transparency mode is another feature that might be seen as a bonus to some people, but for me, it has become an absolute necessity. Every time I go into a grocery store, I have my AirPods Pro in my ears, and when I go to check out, thanks to transparency mode, I'm able to keep my music playing, my AirPods in my ear, and still hear the cashier perfectly clear. That's just something you cannot do with the AirPods 3 efficiently. So every time I've tried to do that with my AirPods 3, I just end up talking much louder than necessary, and I end up just taking one of the AirPods out of my ear. And by the way, the adaptive part of this feature is new this year, and while it was kind of confusing to me at first, since it sounded exactly the same as the previous generation AirPods Pros, the more I've used these over the past month, the more loud noises I've encountered, and this feature makes a solid difference. And if you aren't aware, thanks to the H2 chip inside of the AirPods Pro 2, the actual buds themselves, Apple's on-device processing is able to dynamically adjust down harsh environmental noise like police sirens, construction noises, or dump trucks passing by. And that third example is exactly what happened to me on multiple occasions when riding my bike on the sidewalk next to a busy road. So I normally use noise cancellation when riding my bike, but sometimes I switch to transparency mode so that I'm able to hear people behind me that might be trying to pass by. And when that dump truck passed by, it was not nearly as loud as I was used to on my AirPods Pro first generation. So definitely does make a difference. You just have to be in a very specific scenario. And speaking of that H2 chip, this is the driver behind everything that makes the Pros great this time around. So it not only improves transparency mode and noise cancellation, but it also improves the overall sound quality. And I'm gonna be real, the AirPods 3 sounded so much better than the original Pros, but the same just simply cannot be said this time around. The combination of the new low distortion driver and the amplifier, along with Apple's advanced computational audio, really improves the bass and the overall clarity across all frequencies. And bass was really my only complaint with the original Pros, and the AirPods 3 were really good at bass, but the second generation Pros have improved dramatically in that department. So if you listen to a lot of hip hop or EDM or anything with bass, you're going to appreciate that and notice the difference instantly. However, I will say that the AirPods 3 are very similar in sound quality to the AirPods Pro 2. So they both sound tremendous, but I would give a slight edge to the AirPods Pro 2. Oh, another thing I love about the AirPods Pro 2 is that now when you need to turn up the volume or turn down the volume, you can do so from the stem of the AirPod itself. And I have to say, this was hard to get used to for the first couple of weeks, and just by habit, I would still grab my phone to turn down the volume or my Apple Watch. But now it's become second nature. I just naturally go to my AirPods stem to not only skip songs or switch between active noise cancellation and transparency mode, but also now to change the volume. So you cannot do this on the AirPods 3. You have to adjust the volume via your phone, your Apple Watch, or just by awkwardly asking Siri. And the good thing is, if you're not a big fan of this feature for whatever reason, you can turn it off in your settings. But I love it, and I love not having to use my iPhone for anything now. I just love being able to use the AirPods completely independent of my iPhone now. I did also test the microphone quality for both AirPods as well, and well, I'll let you be the judge of which one is better. This is a microphone test with the AirPods 3rd generation with a dishwasher running in the background as I am walking around a kitchen. So not a ton of background noise, but there is a little bit with the dishwasher. This is a microphone test with the AirPods Pro 2nd generation with a dishwasher running in the background, and I'm walking around the kitchen. So not a ton of background noise, but there is a little bit of background noise going on. This is a microphone test with the AirPods Pro 2nd generation with an emulation of airport sounds going on in the background. This is a microphone test with the AirPods 3rd generation with the airport sound emulation in the background. I can hear a lot more in the background because I don't have noise cancellation on, but here's how that sounds. Now moving on to the charging case. So both sets of AirPods and their cases are IPX4 sweat and water resistant, but definitely not scratch resistant. So you can see the sheer amount of scratches on my just 1 month old set of Pros here. So they both have the same durability. However, there are a few differences to note. So the Pros have a charging case with the U1 chip inside, which allows you to track not only the AirPods, but also the case itself. And along with that, you do also have the speakers on the bottom that are going to emit sounds if they get lost, so you can locate them. And it's no longer going to just put out a noise from the AirPods themselves. It's going to be much louder from the case, or the sound coming from the case. Now, you can also see the battery percentage of the case without needing to open it, which I found to be a very small but a huge quality of life feature. I never liked having to open up my AirPods case just to see the battery level. There is also a lanyard loop on the side of the case for attaching a lanyard, but I've just not felt the need to attach one and probably never will, but it is nice to have there. It doesn't really obstruct anything on the case. All right, so now let's talk battery life. So the AirPods Pro 2 get 6 hours of listening time with active noise cancellation enabled, 4.5 hours of talk time, and with the charging case, you will get up to 30 hours of total listening time and 24 hours of total talk time. The AirPods 3 get 6 hours of listening time and 4 hours of talk time. And with the charging case, you get up to 30 hours of total listening time and 20 hours of total talk time. So the big difference in battery life between these two comes with talk time. So if you use your AirPods a lot for talking on phone calls, you will see a pretty decent difference in battery life. But if you just listen to music, watch movies, and listen to podcasts, and just kind of prefer using your phone for phone calls instead of your AirPods, there is not going to be much of a difference in battery life. And surprisingly, in my experience over the past month, I've traveled with these multiple times in this past month, the AirPods 3 actually lasted about 5 minutes, not even 5 minutes less than my Pros with spatial audio turned on both. So not the 30 minutes that Apple claims. I found it to be much less than 30 minutes. So not a huge difference in battery life, but it is still worth mentioning. I did also want to mention that the Pros have Bluetooth 5.3, while the AirPods 3 still have Bluetooth 5.0. So the Pros are technically more future-proof, but I haven't really seen any real-world advantages to having 5.3 yet. So overall, I love both the AirPods Pro 2 and the AirPods 3. I think they are, different enough to cater to two different types of people. But after using them for a while, which ones do I recommend? Well, if you feel that active noise cancellation and transparency mode are essential and you have to have them, then the choice is simple. Go with the Pro. Spend the extra $70 to get the Pros. However, if you view active noise cancellation and transparency mode as bonus features that you can live without, or if you just simply prefer the fit and the feel of the AirPods 3 better, go with the AirPods 3 and save yourself $70 plus. The two most important things for most people is going to be the battery life and the sound quality. And on both of these, it's very similar. I mean, there's not a huge difference in either. Again, it really just comes down to that noise cancellation and that transparency mode. The what I call bonus features, like the volume controls on the stems of the Pros, the charging case features with the speakers and the lanyard loop and all that, and also Bluetooth 5.3, I would not consider those essential, and at least not in my opinion, and that should not make or break your decision, but it is something to take into consideration. So I hope this video helped you figure out if you should buy the AirPods Pro 2 or the AirPods 3rd generation. Thanks for watching and stay tuned for more AirPods coverage.